Lift your weary head up to the sky. Open up your window, let the sun in, and sing out with your arms stretched open wide. Hello world!
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Hello, Matt.
Oh, good morning, Chloe. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm great. Big news. I have bangs now.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Yay
Feels
for
good.
bangs.
Feels fresh. How you doing, Matt?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I'm doing much better than last week. Apologies to everyone last week for canceling the show at such short notice. I woke up, my back was out of commission. So I was done. There was no way.
Time.
Yeah. But we're
we're
gonna
back.
more than make up for it today. Thank you all for being here. Chloe, how was your weekend?
Oh my gosh. Big weekend. I went to a park.
Mm-hmm.
I baked a pie with my roommate. And I had a picnic yesterday, and we've been dog setting an adorable little Yorkie pup named Lady, and we will get. I'll tell you all about that a little bit later in the show.
You mentioned you baked a pie, and there it is. Look at that pie.
Here it is. Yes. I'm slowly but surely absorbing all of my roommates' baking knowledge. And this is gluten-free too, because Stephanie and I are both gluten-free.
Wow.
And it is a French silk pie. And I did the piping of the whipped cream on top, and then we shaved some chocolate over it. It's very fancy.
Wow.
I haven't tried it yet, but both of my roommates tried it, and they said it was pretty dang good.
Pretty dang good. Well, it looks amazing.
Yeah. Fun fact, that pie is mostly butter.
Which is why it's probably
why
good.
it's so delicious.
Yeah, there's a definite correlation with the amount of butter in something versus how good it is.
Yeah.
You know, you can take something that's usually very, very good and take all the butter out of it, and it's disgusting.
It's not as good. Yeah.
It's not as good.
If morning show hosting doesn't work out, my roommate and I will definitely start a bakery together.
Oh, well, there you go. I think you'll probably do good to start that bakery. Like, I'm just thinking, like, as far as like, you know, unless we get picked up by a major network, which here's hoping. Folks, we got a crazy show. Good morning, Bella. Good morning, Raj Andelman. Good morning, King Senior. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's why Butterface means they have a sure. I didn't know that was the origin of that word. We'll get into butter sculpting. We should get into butter sculpting. It's a great Midwestern tradition. The great Midwestern tradition of butter.
I'm surprised we haven't talked about it yet.
Well, maybe we should save that and do that as like a show in and of itself. Where we'll just try to butter sculpt.
For subscribers only.
Yeah, a subscribers only butter sculpting challenge. Sure, we could make that happen. And who knows? Maybe we'll have our first guest as a contestant or as someone that could also butter sculpt right along with us.
Yeah.
So friends, we're gonna switch things up a little bit this morning. We'll get to some of the things we usually do here in just a little bit. But I want to bring out our first guest just right out the gate. We just want to just
fast and loose, getting crazy with it.
Yeah, it's what we do here on the show. So please welcome to the show, writer, comedian, just all around very, very cool person, Brooke Neasley. Nisley. I had it. I said it in my head, and then I mispronounced it. Brooke, I failed you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Everyone gets it a little wrong. It's fine. I always say Brooke with a B and Nisley with a K.
Right.
And then kind of funny because bangs, butter, Brooke. But Brooke's a vegan, so I'm sorry. I won't be able to try it.
That's all right.
But
well, we could use vegan butter. We could definitely do.
It's true. It's true. We don't even have to use butter. I make vegan brownies all the time for my roommate and myself.
Oh, yeah.
And my roommate is gluten-free. So it's gluten-free vegan brownies. It's just things on top of things. And it turns out pretty good. But then again, I use like 2 cups of sugar, and like half a jar of peanut butter. I'm just like, yeah.
It's the thing, you don't need gluten for something to taste good. Like gluten doesn't affect really, like sometimes the lack of gluten, especially in brownies, can be. I've had some of the best brownies I've ever had have been gluten-free brownies.
Yeah, brownies.
And you pour that cocoa powder in.
Yeah, because they're a dense. It's a dense dessert, and so you can't go wrong.
Yeah, making something light and fluffy, I gotta admit, that's a challenge.
It's true.
Yeah, dense is easy. I can do dense. Yeah.
I do dense every day.
My angel food cake is so dense. It is the densest angel food cake
It's almost
seen.
A devil's food cake.
Right. It's purgatory cake. It's just right there. It's just right there in the middle. Brooke, where are you calling us from today?
Yeah, you could probably tell that I'm outside and that it's mild and I'm wearing a light coat.
Yeah.
Deduction. Yeah. I'm actually on the West Coast right now, visit family and my dog. Mostly my dog. My family also lives here though. And
so
I'm in
it's so
San
early
Diego.
there. It's so early there. Thank you so much for joining us so early.
40-ish. Yeah. But I get up super early because I have a weird circadian rhythm these days. So it's all the same.
Yeah. Just so you know, dog cameos are welcome if your dog is around.
I was trying to. I snuck in because she sleeps on my mom's bed. I was like, ha ha ha, is Quinn, because her name's Quinn the Eskimo after the Manfred E. Mann's Earth Band song. But she's like 12 years old. She's so old. She's a King Charles Spaniel mix. She's a black dog, but we call her Quinn the Eskimo. Everyone's confused. And she's sleeping on the end of my mom's bed, and I crept in like a little goblin. And I was like, Quinn. And she was asleep. And I was like, I can't wake her up. She's 12 years old. The shock would kill her.
Yeah, I have a our dogs just celebrated their birthdays this month. So my oldest dog is like, I think she's 13, 14 at this point. And she takes up half the bed, even though she's a 15-pound terrier. And she yells at me when I try to come to bed. She is not happy. Not happy.
I'm going to mute myself for a second because there's a train.
Sounds like Brooke's riding the rails. It's like, I got to go. I got to catch this train.
What is this, stick and bindle?
Yeah. Yeah, she's actually, or maybe cooking beans. We can't see it right off camera. There's a can with a little flame underneath, and there's beans. That's
just the life of riding the rails.
I mean, it's the life of riding the rails.
My favorite artist is Tom Waits. I feel like that's in line.
Lines up.
Yeah, sorry about that. My parents live right next to the railroad tracks, so growing up, I learned to block out a lot.
Yeah, no, I grew up near railroad tracks as well. So it's like, yeah, I totally get that. It's been brought up in the chat now that your hair actually matches the trim of your house. You kind of are. This is a like we're doing like a color story here, and it's great.
The greatest. Oh,
you're so artistic. Branding. and I match Chloe. It's just like it's great.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah, this is actually it just turned out because I'm naturally a redhead. You can kind of see my roots coming in, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And I had never done like a funky color with my hair, and I was like, I'm gonna dye one day. I got to do this before that happens. And so. And my mom's a hairdresser and like esthetician, and I'm not a girly person. I'm not really feminine, if you haven't noticed. And so growing up, she always was like, "Wouldn't it be great if you just did something with your hair, something?" So at the ripe age of 31, I was like, "Maybe we should bleach it," and she was like, "Welcome." And it just so happened that her favorite, I really like teal, blue, green, so I wanted to go blue green, and I forgot that's like her favorite color, so that's why the house is trimmed in that color.
Oh, it all
So
makes sense
it was basically a Mother's Day gift.
That's such a wonderful like mother-daughter bonding experience, right? You guys get to hang out and get to do something cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and I have your website pulled up, because I was doing painstaking research to learn to pronounce your name, and then I messed it up. But there's the
That's
I
my
was like,
natural
oh,
hair
there's
color.
the red hair right there.
Yeah.
So that's the
my
original
natural
color.
hair color. And that's actually I live in Brooklyn, so all that tracks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Amazing.
Except today. Today you're on the West Coast.
Today
and
I'm in
it's,
San
like,
Diego.
super early in the morning.
Not a bad place to be. So
Not at
your
all.
your
Go ahead, Chloe.
website's really cool. You're a writer and you got all your writing samples there and stuff. And you said you write a lot about horror movies.
I do. So I juggle between I write. Everyone's confused. I write serious pieces as a freelance journalist, and then I write a bunch of comedy, and then I write a lot about horror movies. And everyone's just like, "What is your deal?" I'm like, "I don't know."
What's your brand?
Yeah. Yeah, and I have students too. I teach at Emerson College, intro to composition, and most of the time they don't look into what I do, but when they do, they're also like, "What is happening? Another train? Gosh,
It's
everyone's
fine.
going to work. I forgot
We
it was
can listen
Monday."
to the train.
Kind of
They go by
pleasant.
fast.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so I write horror movie lists for Vulture, which I'm always forever indebted to Vulture for letting me, because I come up with crazy. I'm like, "Hey, it's Earth Day. How about eco horror movies about why the Earth hates us and is fighting back?" My editor
I was actually
there's
looking
like,
at that one. Yeah. I
yeah,
saw that
my
one.
editor's
That was
like,
great.
"Go for it."
That's
And with
amazing.
Valentine's Day, I wrote one. I was like, "What if you're kind of horrified by Valentine's Day?" And she was like, "I am. Let's do it."
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
I was
great.
like looking to see if I recognized any of these movies, and I am surprisingly like low on the B horror movie. Like I
Some
can't
of
like
them-
I haven't seen very many of these at all.
Yeah, some of them are pretty famous, obviously, like Piranha. Well, people are more familiar with Piranha 3D because that came out, fairly
Mhm.
recently, and was like, although there is a great kill scene in there. I don't know if this is too risque,
No,
but
you're
there's a
fine.
great kill scene where a girl, her hair gets stuck in a boat propeller, and she gets like scalped. It rips the whole thing off in Piranha 3D. Check it out. So that was great. That was exciting. But Jaws is one of my favorite movie, and Piranha, when it originally came out, was positioned as, and you can even tell by the plot structure and everything, even the opening scene is like Jaws 101. They just so gripped off. They were like, "Hey, everyone's interested into aquarian beasts attacking people. What else eats meat?" They're just throwing ideas at the wall. I think it's not on the list, but there's a crocodile or alligator movie that came out roughly the same time. That is just, I couldn't in good conscience put it on on the list because it's just so bad.
Was it Lake Placid?
I love that movie, and it actually came out. Oliver Platt's in it.
Mhm.
Hilarious character.
Betty
actor.
White is in it. It's Betty White.
What?
Isn't
Betty
Betty
White's
White? Yeah, she's the lady that owns
She's
the property,
friends with
right?
it. Yeah, she's friends with the creature. Yeah.
Okay, I have to
Because
see
of
that
course
movie
she
now.
is.
Yeah. Bill Pullman is in it too. I always mix it Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton because I'm a monster.
Well, one's the tornado guy and one's the president.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's tornado or president. That's how I.
Pretty similar.
That's a good trick. I'm going to keep that in mind. But yeah, I love Lake Placid. That came out in like 2008, I want to say. But yeah, so it's just that's another one.
That was 99.
99.
Lake Placid was 1999.
Wow.
You know what? I should have known that came out of the same year as Entrapment because I saw them both at a drive-in movie theater.
What a double feature.
Yeah, I forgot that. And then on the other screen, across the way, Eyes Wide Shut was playing.
What a movie to show on at a drive-in. Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got people for miles like, what is going on?
Well, and I didn't have the speaker in my car showing that movie, so it was Lake Placid was what we had gone to see. Entrapment was the second one, and honestly, I was kind of bored. I remember being bored by Entrapment, so I looked and I was watching Eyes Wide Shut, but with the Entrapment speaker. So it was this weird like mashup. I don't know. I think everyone should watch Eyes Wide Shut that way. Just give it a go.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones's voiceover.
Right. Wasn't Sean Connery was in that too?
Yeah,
right?
Sean Connery. R.I.P.
Yeah. That was the laser.
Yeah, where she has to like blindfold and figure out how to go beneath all these lasers, and he hangs bells from strings to help her practice.
Right.
I remember
because that's how
movie
lasers
too
work.
well. Yeah, that's how lasers work. It's like you'll be able to dodge these lasers. It's like dodgeball. You can dodge these lasers if you can dodge these bells.
That's how I've practiced dodging lasers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So what would you say your do you have like a favorite kind of horror movie, like for you personally, not like necessarily like what you've been, I mean, I'm sure what you write about and what you like are very similar. But do you have like a specific like kind of horror movie you like?
So I like the horror movies that a lot of people would say, oh, they're so bad they're good. And I'm like, yeah, but part of me, I sincerely like them. Like, it's not even that they're so bad they're good. I take this kind of visceral pleasure in watching teenagers die. It just, I know it's terrible, but it's true. I feel like 'cause I work so often with narratives and just constructing essays and taking apart and just giving people feedback on essays and putting together journalistic stories. I just like to watch slashers like pieces, and I like to see people cut into pieces, and I'm just like, wow, I know this is Freudian or whatever, that I like to see deconstruction at such a visceral bodily level, but I also love body horror like Cronenberg. Yeah, John Carpenter can do no wrong in my eyes, so like Halloween, The Thing, like all of his, even his movie The Fog, I love that one because it has Tom Atkins and I just forgot her name, Jamie Lee Curtis in it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I like kind of bad slashers, but I also like supernatural elements. There's this really not great movie called Tourist Trap, and it has I always want to say Tanya Gold, but that's the ice skater, not her. Tanya Roberts, the one who is she was a Bond girl and also a Charlie's Angel in like one of the original seasons, but like an older season. And she was. This is I say all of that. What I should have started with was she was Midge on That 70s Show. And then people. Yeah, the redhead on That 70s Show, whose name I always forget. Her like mom or stepmom or whatever, her mom figure. But the movie Tourist Trap is not good. It's not good. It's a slasher where he being the serial killer or whatever, traps tourists who just so happen to be
Wait a
young,
minute.
hot teens. And no, and then he turns them into like mannequins, but there's like this supernatural element where he can control things with his mind, randomly, like telekinesis, like he'll move things with his mind, and you're like, why is that there? And it does not figure into the plot at all, but I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, my favorite Batman was the one with Val Kilmer, and that one made 0 sense. But
Batman Forever with Nicole Kidman, who's the therapist. I love that movie too.
Yeah,
you're not alone.
But it's that movie is awful. It is horrible, but it is to this day one of my favorites, and that's that's the reason. I don't know. Brooke, are you working on anything currently? Have you got anything like on the
any projects you're excited about?
So I had a traumatic brain injury in 2015, so I'm disabled and I have a lot of deficits. Like my fine motor skills are not so fine, but I am working on a memoir, and the feedback I always get from it when beta readers or anyone else reads it is, wow, I didn't expect to laugh about brain injuries. And I take that as a compliment. So it's kind of like a comedy memoir, but it's dark too. But how I got my traumatic brain injury, I got to share this because it's so wild. It's just everyone's like, wow. And I know what they want to say, but they don't say it because they're polite people. And I'm like, yeah, it is stupid. It's very silly. I was climbing a redwood tree because that's a good idea to do without climbing gear. And I fell 25 feet, hit 2 branches, hit the ground. Yeah, I was in a coma for 10 days. Relearned how to walk, swallow, all that good stuff. And everyone's like, that must have been so traumatizing. I'm like, honestly, I don't really remember it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a really good tree climber, but I just got to get back out there. No. But so that's
get right back on it.
Yeah. Just like, it's truly an inspirational story of a girl who falls out of a tree and then learns to climb again. No.
I see the movie rights. I mean, it's a very Aaron Brockovich story, and I love it.
Coming to Hollywood. No.
Fighting for tree rights.
A screen near you. A Lifetime movie near you. Honestly, let's be real. But so I'm working on a memoir about that. So that's like the big project. And then I'm always writing comedy pieces. Like I have a comedy piece that I'm supposed to file today by end of day your time. Ask me how far I've gotten on it.
That's all right. The best comedy comes from a place of panic. But you can check out all of Brooke's work. Go to her website, brooknisley.com. Check out her Twitter at Brooke Nisley. And I'm assuming as you post things, they'll be on the websites that you have there.
You'll be able to find it. You'll hear about it. I'm not shy.
Follow her on Twitter. You'll get all her written goodness.
I cannot wait to read this memoir.
It's going to be great. That's going to be fantastic. Brooke, have a great rest of your morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. You've got the whole day ahead of you. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brooke. Bye-bye. Oh, fantastic.
How fun.
Man, falling out of a redwood tree is no joke. Like that's.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And hitting branches on the way down. That's
nuts.
That's the worst case scenario.
Worse. I mean, honestly, the branches probably
didn't help much.
It didn't help much, but it. I mean, I don't know.
Like
it would have broken her fall a little bit and slowed her down.
Yeah. I love that. I'm so excited. I really want to read that. Did you ever read Brain on Fire?
No.
So it's a nonfiction book of this woman who gets a very rare type of encephalitis, which is, just like a brain inflammation,
Mhm.
basically. And it takes them a really long time to figure out exactly what's going on. But like, her whole personality changes and she's having all trouble with this kind of stuff. It's really fascinating because brain injuries are obviously terrible.
Awful.
But studying them is really fascinating, and like learn when people have deficits or when a certain part of their brain gets damaged, like we can learn so much from that about like how the brain works and what parts of your brain do what.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but don't go around causing brain injuries.
No, there's some ethical issues with that.
Yeah. But no, I get that. That's how you figure out how things work. You break them, I guess. I don't know. That's weird. Thanks everybody for watching. Seeing the chats. Got some people in here. Other Dave Thomas, morning. Let's see. M Labs here. Good morning. The Dukeness is here. I was like, ooh.
Very exciting. Very exciting audience today.
Very exciting audience today.
Matt, should we take care of the stuff that we skipped at the front of the show?
Oh, Chloe, you're keeping me on track, and that's what I appreciate about you.
Oh, is that what you appreciate about me?
Yeah.
Good
all right.
Letterkenny.
Y'all look lovely this morning. Thanks. We're trying. I feel out of the loop. I don't have blue hair. I feel like I should.
So you got a sick. You got some sick facial hair going on.
I do. I'm trying to get this. So I can like braid it like Thor at the end of Endgame. I'm trying to look like Fat Thor. Is basically what I'm saying. Is I want
Fat Thor is the best.
I want to cosplay. I've never cosplayed before, and I think that would be a good cosplay for me.
I think it would be amazing. He's honestly my favorite Thor.
I am wearing a Red Barn shirt, Bella. Thank you very much. I did find out today that my cafe will be reopening in July, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, good.
So I'll be back serving Red Barn coffee, which I'm very, very stoked about.
If you go to their website and order coffee and use the discount code Hello World.
Yeah. Hello World.
You get 15% off.
Yeah. And we ship anywhere in the country. So you can get that. You can get that sweet, sweet coffee delivered right to your door. It's real good. I enjoy it.
Red Barn Coffee Roasters. We've got t-shirts.
We've got t-shirts. Get those beans. That's what it is. Red Barn Coffee Roasters. Get those beans.
That's it. I think we found it.
Nailed it. Writing credit to Bella. Let's see. Oh, on this day, this is a fun one today. I'm very excited. On this day, May 24th, 1989, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade premieres.
This is the one with Sean Connery.
Yes.
Playing his dad.
Easily my favorite of the franchise.
Yep. Here's what I remember about this film.
Okay.
Sean Connery has an umbrella that he uses creatively. And there is a moment where Indiana Jones realizes that he and his dad have both slept with the same woman.
Yep.
Did I hit all the important plot points?
The line I believe was something as I'm as whatever as the next guy, and Indy replies, "I was the next guy." Yeah. You also other highlights of the movie. Indiana Jones receives a book autograph from Adolf Hitler. They throw someone out of a balloon, a Zeppelin.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's just, it's the most solid of the Indiana Jones movies. Yeah,
action packed.
Yeah. There are infinitely more Crusade timelines. It's true. And they made the other, the latest one, which was years ago, right? With Shia LaBeouf. was in it.
What did we think of that, Matt?
That one was awful. That one was hot garbage. And they're in talks with another one. They're making another one with the woman from Fleabag is going to be in it.
I love her so much.
Yeah, I do too. Phoebe Waller-Bridges.
Yes.
Right? Did I get it right?
That is correct.
That is correct.
I hope. Yeah. I hope she's like his secret daughter.
And is Shia LaBeouf's sister. Like any new person that comes into the universe has to be related to Indy in some way.
Maybe she's a niece. Was Indy an only child? We don't know.
We don't know. Do you remember who played the young Indiana Jones in that movie? Remember, the movie starts off with a kind of a flashback to how Indiana Jones got his little scar on his chin.
No.
Why he's scared of snakes. It was played by River Phoenix. River Phoenix played Indiana Jones. Yeah.
I feel like so many people have been in those movies. It's one of those movies you go back and watch it and you're like, oh yeah, that guy.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, easily one of my favorite Indiana Jones movies. So our trivia question today, one of my favorite lines of the film is when Sean Connery is, he calls him Henry all the time. And he's like, that's not my name. My name is Indiana. He says, we named the dog Indiana. Yeah. And they show the dog. They show the dog at the beginning. Yep. So the question is, that's not the right question. Here it is. Today's trivia question is, what type of dog was Indiana?
What type of dog?
What type of dog was it?
Speaking of dogs,
let's talk about
now a good time to talk about Lady,
Queen of the Segway.
So, we have been dog sitting our friend's little Yorkie Terror, and I just Matt, do we have those pictures?
I am looking at it for the first time right now.
Yeah, clearly. So my dog, Buddy Joe, he's only like 15 pounds. He's got short legs. He's already a small, a long dog, but a small dog. Lady is about a third of the size of Buddy Joe. And they are best friends.
Look at that.
Yep.
This is the content you're here for, people.
And I want to, with this up on the screen, I want to read some of the care instructions. How to care for Lady, the extremely tiny dog. Lady eats twice a day, and she gets 2 scoops, which is 2 tablespoons each time she eats, a total of 4 tablespoons per day. And of course, she needs water available all day when she's not in her crate or pen.
Of course.
Sleep. Lady loves sleeping and will sleep all day and night. She'll also be happy. She can be crated at night in your room, but she'll cry if the crate is covered or blocked, as she's a bit claustrophobic.
Aww.
She'll also be happy to sleep on your bed if you prefer that. Exercise and going out. Lady requires very little exercise, but she loves going for walks and can walk as far as you can.
Lady prefers clubs. She likes to go to dance clubs. Do not give Lady tequila.
Especially not after midnight. Let's take a look at the next picture.
Okay. Hold on. We have to reset here.
Because it's almost more adorable than the first, and I know that you think that's impossible. But just wait.
How
other instructions.
dare you?
Depending on the season, Lady may come with some sweaters. If it's colder than 50 degrees, She would probably need to wear
Wait.
one.
I'm sorry. I'm going to pause you for just a second. So this is just a manual that the owner has, like, on their computer, and then they print it out, and it and it's just a year-round. Like, they didn't type this up specifically for you.
No.
Like, this is just a form that they have. All right. Continue. Sorry. I just had to stop you there for a second. I love that. Depending on the season.
Yeah. Please take her sweater off at night. That was the end of that. And then finally, lady may play with soft, squeaky toys, but generally doesn't understand other types of toys, like tennis balls or chew toys.
Just doesn't see the point. Like, what is this?
I don't get it. What do I do with this?
Yeah.
Could she even fit a tennis ball in her mouth?
I
don't
doubt
think she can.
No, I don't think she could. No. Look at that. Look at that sweet little face.
And she and Buddy Joe are on the same level. They're both
Rachel says it best. Perfect tiny baby.
Perfect tiny baby puppy dog. She and Buddy Joe are both kind of don't understand other dogs really, so they get excited about meeting other dogs, and they'll sniff each other and wag their tails and then not know what else to do. So they nap together, and it's just, it's my favorite thing.
Yeah. And the Dukeness just, little boops. Little boops.
Yeah, lady does deserve the world, fella.
Well, it's like there's a cartoon out on Apple TV called Central Park, and there's a little doggy. There's a little doggy in that lives in the penthouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just the most adorable thing in the world.
Yeah, we love her and we don't want to give her back.
Yeah, I feel like you would be in a full-on war if you decided to not give that dog back. Like, I believe you would have police at your house.
People will die for that puppy.
Yeah.
And she and Buddy Joe are just such good friends. I mean,
I love that they're friends.
And now, they're so
you,
sweet.
Buddy Joe's going to be so sad.
It's true. Actually, I think he might be okay with it. He's very like.
He's like,
I've gotten a lot of looks from him of like, what? You could be paying attention to me right now. What?
Is this permanent? What is this situation? Annie does the same exact thing. Like, if Gracie comes over and I start giving Gracie pats or whatever, scritches or whatever, Annie will immediately come over and be like, hey, I'll be like, look, you've ignored me all day. And then the minute I show affection to
jealous creatures.
You just come right over. It was Gracie's 3rd birthday this weekend. So Gracie turned 3.
Oh my God.
Which she's starting to have a hard time. Like, yesterday was a hot one. So she's poor thing. She's just
it's hot for a husky dog.
Imagine wearing a fur coat all year
day
long.
Oof.
I mean, you'd be fancy.
You'd be
but you'd also be sweaty.
It's a fashion versus comfort, argument.
Yeah. Very much so.
Well, that's our dog segment.
That's our dog segment. And we could probably have gone so much further, and just keep talking about dogs.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else is today? Oh, today's National Scavenger Hunt Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have no factual evidence as to why this is called, why today is National Scavenger Hunt Day. I have a website that I go to, I put in the day, and it tells me a list of national days. It was either this or National Wyoming Day. So I chose this one.
Yeah. Scavenger hunts are a little bit more universal.
Yeah. Have you ever gone on a scavenger hunt? Do you like scavenger hunts?
I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever been like on a real
really like
down home scavenger hunt. You know what I mean? Like, I think I've done like things in the yard or like an I Spy type thing or like Easter egg hunts. done that.
Right.
But I haven't done one where it's like on a larger scale where you have to like drive to the next location or like figure out a real like a poem clue or something like that. You know,
like
what I mean?
riddles or things like that.
Yeah.
I love scavenging. I've only done a few, and I haven't in years. I would like, I don't know. That's like just the coolest.
It takes a lot of coordination. You know,
did one in P-Town every year with my school. So fun. Yeah. I mean, they're just super fun. And I've always wanted to do, like, I've always had this like fantasy of doing like a national scavenger hunt, like one that you have to go all over the place for.
Kind of like, is the Amazing Race, does that count as a scavenger hunt?
I mean, this is a question we should have asked our Amazing Race contestants when we had our Amazing Race contestants on the show.
All right, next time
I would say it's kind of probably a little bit of a scavenger hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah. There was a movie growing up as a kid I watched all the time I believe it was just called Scavenger Hunt, and it had the guy from Empty Nest was in it. Robert Wool. No, that's going to bug me. Anyway, Ben Vereen was in it. Madeline Kahn was in it. Not Madeline Kahn. Cloris Leachman was in it. Very, very funny movie. Of like the 70s. Haven't seen it recently. It might not hold up as well. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. What else do we have? I'm very excited. We're going to be here in just a couple minutes. We're going to be bringing on our very special Eurovision correspondent. Eurovision was this past weekend. Before we do that, though, because we'll talk. That's going to take up the rest of the time. That's what we're talking about. Let's do some birthdays real quick.
Let's
birthdays.
do it.
Today, Bob Dylan celebrating a birthday. I had to Google, is Bob Dylan still alive? He is.
He's alive and kicking.
He's alive and kicking. Jim Broadbent, who is one of my favorite actors. I love him so much. As well as John C. Reilly. Birthdays today. So cool dudes all around
birthday.
There. Tomorrow, Ian McKellen, Frank Oz, and Anne Heche. Wednesday, Sally Ride, Helen Bonham Carter. Thursday, Christopher Lee, one of the coolest dudes out there. Andre 3000. And then Friday, John Fogerty, Hunter Patch Adams, and Kylie Minogue. Yeah. Those are your birthdays.
Pretty good week for birthdays.
Yeah. And, of course, Gracie this last weekend.
Happy birthday, Gracie.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to it. I'm excited. Eurovision was this last weekend. It was on Saturday. Thanks to the amazingness of the Peacock app, I was able to watch it, and it was such a good show. And to talk with us about it, and we're just gonna dish about Eurovision and all the craziness that went down. Let's bring out Kieran. Kieran, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Matt, Chloe. Hello, world. I give the show so far 12 points.
Yes, we got Kieran's 12 points.
12 points. Excellent.
Kieran, I tell you what, you watched it live. I watched it in bits in the replay, thankfully, that was on the streaming service. What was it like to watch the show live?
It was pretty fantastic, especially when it came down to voting. It was a bit of a nail biter.
Were you able to vote, or do you have to be in those countries to vote?
My understanding is you have to be in Europe. I mean, you can download the app, and I don't know how they would not know you're not in Europe, but apparently you have to be in Europe to vote, because they tabulate to make sure that you're not voting for the country you're texting from. So there must be some way around it that they know to block it, apparently. But I didn't.
The satellites are watching us.
Yeah, but if I had voted and I had put money on it, I would have won.
You would have won?
Yeah, Italy was my favorite. Oh, spoiler
Really?
alert! It's over, so we've no spoilers, right?
Right.
That's what
I made sure to get it into my mind as quickly as
Yeah.
possible because it was all over the place. And
Right.
since since Google tracks you, I've been getting a lot more Eurovision stuff in my feed as of late because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, you like to watch those videos. We're gonna give you that info. So I needed to watch it just as quickly as possible and just stay off social media until I saw it. But yeah, Italy's performance was fantastic.
They did
They
brilliant,
weren't one of my
brilliant job.
favorites.
Yeah, it was absolutely high energy. Finland was also kind of metally, and I loved them. It was a very well balanced show, which brings into the whole conspiracy of how is it so balanced every year? You know, you get hard rock and then you get ballads. You just get the right balance every year. And it's kind of, that gets the conspiracy theorists going, But it was we just the right amount of uki. We had just the right amount of hard rock. We had just the right amount of ballads. It had a little bit of everything this year. I think the music components definitely balanced out the hosts, who I thought were so boringly bland. They had no personality, none, and there was 4 of them. Actually, the one girl was pretty good, but the other 3 were just boring, mind-numbingly boring.
I loved how there were 3 judges that were all the same height, and then the 4th judge stood literally like a head and a half above all of them.
Yeah, kind of Amazonian kind of vibe. Yeah, it was great. And she was brilliant and natural and relaxed, but the other 3 were just so wooden. It was so bizarre. Like, this is who you had to pick, Netherlands. It was so bizarre. But we had quite a few
contestants. Were they all did they all have Eurovision experience? Is that why they chose them?
I have no idea. I know that the tall girl is very well. She's a YouTube star. I think Nikki Tutorials. I think she does makeup tutorials and stuff.
Nikki Tutorials.
Yeah, she's very well known. She was excellent. And she was the most relaxed. In hindsight, they probably should have just let her host the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
The other 3 were so wooden. And it's like, how can you be so wooden in such a fun environment? They're there talking to all these people in ridiculous costume. But I mean, that would be my only criticism. I thought the Netherlands did a great job hosting. It looked fantastic. Staging was phenomenal. The crowd was great, So yeah, there were a lot of firsts. So the public voting, we had 4 nul points in a row. So we had what? UK 4 nul points. No points.
Yeah. Oh.
So they do the jury voting first of all, and then it goes to public voting. So we had the UK, poor UK. They got 0 from the public and 0 from the
UK did not have a good night. Before we get too into it, I want to bring up this. I've got a little slide. I've got some slides. I want to show the since we're talking about the UK here. Hold on one second. There we go. Let me pull up. I have a whole Eurovision tab that I have.
Cool.
All right, here we go. So this is okay. So yeah, this was the voting. So at this point, Kieran, I believe this is when they're starting the public vote, right?
Exactly correct. Yeah, because they've already tabulated all the jury votes, which is why you have all the things on the screen, and you can see poor old UK at the end there. They got 0 from the juries and then 0 from the public, which is. And then the weird thing about this is then we went to Germany, Spain, and Netherlands, and all 4 of them got no points, nul point, the dreaded nul point that nobody wants. All 4 of them.
That's
and they all reacted very well to it, but what can you do?
They did.
National humiliation.
I mean, I just feel for them. Here's a picture of the UK guy during his
James
song.
Newman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of the UK version of Mark Wahlberg.
Right. Yes. And there was a lot. There was a lot of speculation on Twitter, especially that UK were like victimized because of Brexit. So it was all political and everybody hates the UK and stuff. But, you know, I find that hard to believe. The song was very mediocre, and Ireland's had a very mediocre song too this year, and we didn't even qualify for the final. And we weren't bitching and moaning about it, so just get over it, you know.
Well, and I think he took it as well as you can take it. It was it was cool to see all the other artists like being like, hey, you know, that sucks, and we're sorry. That's my dog.
And I read this morning somewhere, I don't know if this is true, but if it is, it's like a living hell. Apparently all of the contestants are required, because of COVID protocols, to quarantine for 10 days in Rotterdam before they're allowed to get on a plane and go home. So not only did he get no love from the rest of Europe, but he's stuck in Rotterdam for 10 days in quarantine. It's like, you know, you can't even go out and enjoy the town because you're quarantined.
You're quarantined.
Yeah. But you know what? All artists have their cross to bear.
Right.
You know?
It's true.
So looking at some of the looks, this was Norway.
I love this.
Look, I love the whole back. I actually love this song because I'm a sucker for a power ballad, right? So I love this song, but I love the backstory even more. So his name is Tix, which he adopted because he was bullied because he had Tourette's when he was a kid. And the kids on the playground used to make fun of his tics because he has Tourette's. So he owned it, and he said, I'm going to, you know, embrace this and turn it round. And I love that backstory. I think that's brilliant. And it's just the video is beautiful. It's all about him growing up, you know, being bullied and stuff. And then, you know, he made it big in Norway and fighting against all the odds. Who doesn't love a good underdog story? I mean, it really is a beautiful backstory, you know. But yeah, I love this. And he had the demons on either side, just pulling him apart and stuff. That was great. Visually, this was so Eurovision.
Yeah, that particular number, like when he took his sunglasses off and just kind of like showed that, you know, like this is who I am, right? Because you know, he wears them.
That was big too. Yeah, he wears them because it suppresses his tics and stuff. Yeah, it was it's beautiful. But you know, Twitter being Twitter, there was a lot of hate saying they're going for the sympathy vote. I'm like, just enjoy the music and the backstory, and you know, as you said, I think on the last one, Matt, you know, God forbid we're allowed to have some joy for 5 minutes, you know.
Right.
But it seems very silly that they're like, he's going for the sympathy vote, but also like
it's
no one's going to vote for the UK because of political reasons. Like, why is this the thing that we're mad about?
Yeah,
you can't have it both ways. Yeah, it's so ridiculous, you know.
I was a big fan of. I was super bummed about Germany, like that they scored so low. Like honestly, I didn't expect them to make it to the final, even though I really love this song. But just because it's kind of, you know, it's kitschy.
Yeah, there was a lot of hate out there for this song, which I didn't get. I mean, I kind of get it. It's quirky and it's not unironic that Germany has a song entered called "I Don't Feel Hate." But you know, you got to give props to any country that sends a band that has a giant middle finger in their background. You know, because that basically she was prancing around giving the camera the finger for 3 minutes, which is pretty awesome. You know,
it was fun to see the artists flash like certain things. Like to the cameras and things like that. I think Finland did that with something "Join" was on the back of one of the guitars. I don't. What were they saying to join, or was there a thing about that?
I don't know exactly what that one was, but there's so many political statements that go on every year, and then there's personal statements, and it literally could be anything. You know, unless you're like in that camp. Unless it's something like really, really obvious, like I think, you know, the last year, Finland actually, the last contest in Tel Aviv, like flashed a Palestinian flag, and that caused uproar, you know?
Right.
So that kind of stuff goes on every year. So I don't know the ins and outs of that one, but that's certainly something I will look up. But further to your point, the Italian guys changed the lyrics to their song when they sang it for the win, because they had actually been asked to change the lyrics from. There's one line in the song apparently where he goes, "Don't touch your balls," and he grabs himself, and they asked them to change that for the family audience to like, "Don't be bold" or "Don't be bad," something generic,
Right.
which he did. He did that apparently in the actual performance. But then if you notice, I mean, I don't speak Italian, but if you notice when he came out at the end, he grabs himself. So I think he changed it back to the original lyrics for the final performance, which is kind of,
and
rebellious.
Those outfits were that Italy wore. Well, let's see. I've got
all I could think of is, how are they peeing? Because they had these like chest high lederhosen, which didn't seem to have any flies in them. I'm like, this seems like a nightmare to get out of,
Yeah, this was. This was. I was like, wow, and they're sitting in these costumes all night. Like they're sitting there just. The
lead singer, there is a video out there somewhere. The lead singer actually split his pants after they won. And there is a video out there on Twitter of him with his basically his crotch all blown out because they look ridiculously non-flexible.
Right.
Yeah.
NC Bears says 4 years ago. And how do we pronounce the name of this band?
I'm pronouncing it Maneskin, which it's Danish for moonlight. That's what it is. Don't ask me why an Italian band has a Danish sounding name. I have no idea, but that is apparently what it is. It's Danish for moonlight, in case anybody was wondering.
Well, there you go.
I'm sure it's like Maneskin or something very like more eloquent than I'm able to say it, but
Right. So evidently they were playing on street corners 4 years ago, busking.
Well, who wasn't that? Let's face facts. We all were.
I mean, 4 years ago, it was a different time.
It was. There were a lot of street corners. Who knew there were so many street corners?
So there was a thing at the end, or there's been kind of a little thing. Yesterday, today, talking about how the Italian band Maneskin was possibly doing cocaine off the table, right?
Yeah.
There's a. Let's see. I think I have. Let me see here.
He has vehemently denied it, but the optics are not great.
The optics are not great, but I saw this tweet, which I absolutely loved, and it's like, if the Italians who won Eurovision can't do cocaine, what is even the point?
Right.
It's like, you know what?
And I mean, it's very impressive that they gave that performance not on cocaine, quite frankly.
Right? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. I retweeted one. It was, congratulations, Italy. And it was just Pacino from Scarface. And I mean, I have to give props to Twitter this year. I'm on it every year. And I have to say, this was probably the shadiest year. There was some belly laugh out loud tweets. It was just some fabulous stuff on Twitter. A lot of hate and a lot of crap as well. But the stuff that was on point was so good this year.
Oh, all right. Let's look at some of the other.
Let's do it.
This was the biggest. This was the biggest prop that they used.
Oh wow!
Ever in Eurovision.
Is that my Spanish guy?
That's your Spanish? Yeah, this is Spain.
My future husband. God love. It was actually a lovely song, but it crashed and burned. Yeah.
Yeah, it did not go well. I would be very
nervous performing with that hanging over my head. I don't know about you two, but
right. This stage. You were talking about the staging earlier, like the screens and the visuals that they brought up were just stunning.
Oh yeah, I loved the Iceland one. Stuck out for me when they moved to the second half of the song. They had this huge big board with all the pixelated, kind of Space Invader figures. I'm sure there's a name for them. I don't know what it is, but it was just the pop of color along with their costumes and the performance. It was a wow moment for me. That was. I love that.
There's
that was fantastic. They did such a good job. Yeah.
Like, and I felt so bad for them because they basically used their second rehearsal video
Yeah.
in that because 2 of their members got tested positive for COVID.
Yeah. And they kept flashing to the green room, and you could see they were in this little box on their own, you know, whereas all the other ones were like a big, huge frenzy around them. But you know, they've got a tour lined up starting in June, so they're going to do very well on this. But yeah, I agree. I feel bad because they couldn't perform last year. Obviously, like nobody could. Then they're in Rotterdam doing all the rehearsals, and then at the last minute they can't perform. It's like, is it ever going to get started? Are we ever going to get to do it?
Right.
You know.
But the fact that they came in 4th, under those circumstances, that says,
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, that says a lot. You know,
absolutely, and they got a huge. Sorry, Chloe, go ahead.
Third time is a charm. So next year's going to be their year.
Yeah, we're going to be bitching and moaning about the price of going to see them in like the Garden next year. You know, I mean, that's what's going to happen. But they got a huge public vote. At one stage, they took the top of the leaderboard. You know, so it's a very, very popular song and very popular band.
I did like last year's song better.
I agree.
I'm now obsessed with this band, by the way.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I want to be part of it.
Right. Yeah. And Iceland, of course, is where the Eurovision movie was set.
Or should I say, ding dong.
Yeah. And that was what a wonderful segue. Real quick. I just want to play this video. I know that hopefully it won't get us too blocked, but this is this is to me the funniest bit of Eurovision here. Let's see. Tell me if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
No sound.
No
sound. Oh. It's because my sound settings are all messed up. Hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to fix this real quick here.
Well, when he popped up, I didn't immediately make the connection because it's been a while since I saw the movie. I just saw the sweater, and I'm like, oh, this is so Iceland. They're not taking themselves seriously. And then as soon as he said what he said, I'm like, oh yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
and did not drop character for a millisecond.
So is he an actor or is he an actual?
I don't know, but he stayed in that zone the deadpan for like the whole. He was invested the whole time. Even when they're like, yeah, okay, that was funny, but we need your voice. He's like, okay, fine. You know, it was like he stuck with it. I love that. Yeah.
Right. He didn't. Yeah, he wasn't messing around. Okay, let's try this and see if this works any better.
Hello, Europe. This is Húsavík calling. So many nice songs this year, but I would personally like you to play Jæja Ding Dong.
Yeah, these two don't know how to handle this.
No. The Ken doll on the right's just stuck in his permanent smile.
All these thousands of people, but we're a bit running out of time, so please, may we have your 12 points?
Yes, no problem. Out of 12 points, go to Jæja Ding Dong. Play it!
I love that. And Finland doubled down. This is, I think, one of my favorite. Oh man, here it is. Finland just kind of doubled down. They
they should be given props for anticipation, or else, you know, obviously it was a planned, but it tied in so well with the spontaneity of what Iceland did. They should be given an extra 100 points for that stunt alone, you know?
Yeah, they were super into the Jæja Ding Dong. Yeah. But yeah, Iceland just kind of won my heart. You know?
How can they
very
not?
wholesome about them.
And the song itself was about a couple that were together for 10 years and like how much he still loves her. And I mean, it was fantastic, like, you know.
there were a few really powerful songs, I felt.
Here we go. Okay. All right.
The Netherlands, even though they didn't score very well, that you won't break me down, kind of, you can tell that.
Fantastic message in solidarity with the Me Too movement, as they said, and it was very powerful. The song itself actually gave me the vibe of, I discussed this with a few people since. It gave me the vibe of a Broadway musical 11th hour number, or the last song before it goes to the interval. It was a real build everybody up kind of thing, and like, woo, can't wait to see what happens next. But it just didn't resonate for some reason with the voters,
Yeah. Another one that I tell you what, a song that grew on me like crazy was the Russian song.
Really? Okay.
And I tell you what, I got a little teary in their performance.
Oh, wow.
So she comes out in this really weird kind of like it's like a go-kart
dress car. Yeah, she was like a Dalek in a dress.
Yeah.
It starts off really big Nutcracker vibes.
Yeah,
I don't remember which dance it was.
It was so weird. So Russia.
Yeah. But then like she just like, I don't know, she put it all out there. The message she was giving was amazing. Then at the end, like all the screens with all the other, like all the people singing with her.
It was called Russian Woman. I don't know the lyrics, but I'm assuming it was all about obviously female empowerment, because I think all the people on the Zoom were all women, and it was I'm sure I'd be very interested to actually read the lyrics, because she sold it. I mean, I will give her that, she sold it.
Yeah, and it was such a weird presentation, but like for some reason I was like, yeah, I'm into this.
Right.
Did you have any, Karen, did you have any that were, so you called Italy, I
called Italy. Yeah, my favorites were Italy and Finland, and I mean, I just love Norway. I knew it wasn't going to win, but I just loved it. I've got those three on my playlist, as well as Cyprus, which was very Gaga. We talked about this last time, the Gaga one, but I mean, it's one that just gets stuck in your head.
El Diablo is.
I find myself humming El Diablo going down the streets because it's a very catchy number. Serbia was fantastic. The three ladies in the
yes,
they had wonderful. I don't know if that was their actual hair or extensions, but man, when those wind machines hit the hair, it was like that. They didn't need backing singers, but the hair was going like this, and they were selling it. And that's another one that would get you up dancing. I didn't know what they were singing because it was in Serbian. But if that came on in a club, I would be up sober. It was a really good, and it was really good, so they were fantastic.
Yeah. I loved Albania. I love the Albanian song and all the the smoke and everything that was around. I was very visual with a lot of these, like those visuals were just unbelievable. But it looked so cool with the smoke machines that were going.
They did.
And all the smoke,
Yeah, I love Portugal too, which is kind of a throwback almost to a Sinatra-like standard with a little bit of Beatles in it. But he, and he just had a brilliant voice and sold it. That's another one on my playlist. But then he starts walking towards the second half of the song, and they just have that big screen again with this animated figure walking beside. And it's beautiful, visually just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So
that's
well
Portugal,
done.
right? Is that what you're talking about?
Portugal. Yeah. Love is on my side. Love is on my side.
That's this guy right here. Yeah.
Oh wow.
This guy, like, I don't know. Like
there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on with this guy.
I've been to Portugal. That's Portuguese guys for you. Yeah. Yeah.
There was one moment There was one moment where the cameras cut to Portugal, and they were all on their phones. And like none of them could be bothered with the camera. Anytime the camera would go up to another band or whatever, they'd be like, "Woo, we're this country, yeah!"
Right.
They go to Portugal. We can't.
We got stuff to do.
We got shit to do. Yeah.
Very important
And of
Portuguese business.
Of course, political voting came into it again. Cyprus gave Greece 10. Greece gave Cyprus 10. Like every single year with that, like it's guaranteed almost.
They've
every
got a
single
deal.
Year. Been going on for decades.
So I have a question on that because they gave the 12s, right?
Yeah.
So had they already given the 10s? Is that what was already factored in when it was up?
Initially when they go to the jury, they flash up the 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 goes up on the screen immediately. They started doing that a few years ago for time because it just takes so long now. Yeah. And it used to be when they first started doing this with the videos and everything, it was the 10 and the 12. The 10 and now it's just the 12.
It's just the 12.
So they go to these countries and I'm sure you noticed. Like I know these are all told. Like we have got to ring up 43 countries. Just give us your 12 and get off. And there's like 3 or 4 every year that give a monologue. And I remember when I did the Eurovision in '76, nobody cares. Give us your 12.
Yeah.
They're just going on and on and on. The UK.
We've been watching this show for 3.5 hours. We're ready to go.
Seriously. Oh my God. There was 3 of them this year. They just would not they was just not shut up.
Sweden was one of them. Sweden just kept talking. There was one where
lady in a zebra dress. She was one, and the UK Amanda Holden made a really bad off-color joke where she basically slammed 2 European languages, and Twitter went ape over that, going, "This is why we hate UK," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" There was war going on.
You don't realize how unpopular the UK is until you see Eurovision.
But also unnecessary. You're there to give us 12 dues points, not to give us your bio or give us your opinion or whatever. It's like, man, it was so funny. Some people can't help.
What did you think of this group?
Oh, very, very.
Was that Belgium? I hated this song.
Oh,
I can't believe
me too.
I hated this song. I despised it. More so than the UK. I thought the UK song was very bland. This was awful, this song.
Yeah, this was the
staging was terrible. And they got 3 points from the public. Like Belgium, you've received 3 points. Which I think is almost worse than no points.
And you could tell too when they because they were on them. Like I love that when they would give the popular vote, right? They would have the video on the country.
Yeah.
And just seeing their reactions to that is just priceless.
Well, it reminds me of what was the old joke? It's like, what's worse than when you're about to perform and realize you've sold no tickets. When you're about to perform and you realize you've sold 1 ticket. At least with no tickets, you can decide to cancel the show,
Right. With 1 ticket, there's at least one person. I've got some. We can't show too much video, but I've got some fun gifs here that I found on the Twitter. This is Moldova. NC Bears talks Moldova.
Sugar, which I still haven't decided if I love or hate. I just can't make up my mind on this song.
Yeah,
I watched the music video for that one, and it was just overstimulating, I think is the word. There was very bright,
and her hair was sprayed to within an inch of its life. Her hair didn't move the entire time.
Is her hair okay?
So, yeah, I mean, I'm worried that she might fall and break her hair,
Yeah, I want to see a picture of the next day, like what they have to do to get all of that out.
Yeah, and Greece I thought was interesting because she looked fantastic. This wonderful bodysuit with the gloves, and it was blue and glittery. But her song was called Last Dance, and she barely moved.
I have,
if you've got dance in your song title, you need to move,
So I've got a couple things there.
So here's a couple of steps.
Yeah, here's the you know, they had this whole green screen thing set up.
Yeah,
right?
and it was
So
clunky. That was not very smooth. The drop, it was clunky.
yeah, it was cool to watch on my end, but for the people in the audience, this is what they, you know, it's like, okay,
Yes,
this
and she
no.
looked. I watched obviously the semi and the rehearsal and then the final, and she looked uncomfortable every single time they were doing, like they were going to drop her. And I'm like, you know what? You're not exuding confidence in this, you know?
yeah. Yeah, Greece was oof. Let's see what else. Oh, I've got another picture here of here was an upset for me, and I was a little disappointed. Lithuania.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, they did very well with the public vote. Again, they were at the top at one point. Discotheque. Yeah, choreography was off the hook, and this guy on the left was just
this guy right here.
He was doing all this every time the camera was like, and I'm like, oh my god, it was so funny. It was so funny and so fun. Yeah,
this is giving me very like game show vibes. Like they've just been called up.
Sabado Gigante. Yeah.
Yeah, the lead singer is just like, I love him so much. Like just I love the dancing in this. Yeah, this whole thing. The what
is going on?
This was one of the first videos you sent me when we first started talking about on Eurovision. You sent me this in Facebook Messenger, and I was just like, oh, these guys are amazing. Like I love their bass player who's got like the long hair and like the Colonel Sanders kind of beard work going on.
Yeah. And the coloring is such a flashback. You could pick any random Eurovision from the 80s and you'd find this coloring. You'd find the bright yellow and purple. Neon obviously is very 80s, but it's such a throwback, you know, but a modern song, which I love. Poor Malta. She didn't do as well as everyone thought. I thought she'd do much better. This is a good song, but I think it suffered from too many similarities to I'm Not Your Toy. Which Israel won a few years ago. I think it had too many parallels. You know, it was branded as a bit of a ripoff, but a good song. It was a good song, and she had probably the best vocals of the night. She's fantastic.
She killed it.
Yeah.
And they were live singing. Yes, everyone was live singing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could tell because a few times, actually, the one we just looked at, the who was it we just looked at that did Sugar? We're just talking about her hair. Who was that? Moldova.
Yeah, Moldova.
Yeah, she had at one stage she dropped the microphone like below her belly button. She didn't realize because she was concentrating on the dancing and And Italy, he dropped the whole verse in the replay. So yeah, you could tell they were singing live. There's definitely backing tracks and auto tune, but they were singing live. Yeah,
right. That's one thing that kind of irritated me about the UK song, and I know they didn't do well anyway. But like his background dancers had their horns, and I was like, they were pretending to play the horns, and it made me think. I was like, are they dancing and playing? I was like, there's no way. There's no way that they're getting that much.
The two huge horns on either side of him. It was bizarre.
Yeah, this whole thing.
The staging was not good for that. Yeah.
And he pretty much stood there the whole time and just did this thing all the time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get it if you don't dance, but you can do something.
Yeah.
Some kind of movement to distract,
Oh, here's you were talking about this was
there they are.
Serbia.
They
look at those
up the stage.
Okay, so first of all, that's definitely hair extensions.
Yeah, okay, good to know. Good to know. And where can I get them? I want them.
I love. There's lots of options for hair extensions these days. I have some clip-in ones that I use. They're just like little barrettes, and you clip them under, so you don't have to like commit to a whole thing. You can take them out at the end of the night, but I'm sure they're using something a little bit more sturdy.
Yeah, because all this was going on. Yeah, I mean that is a lot. That was definitely their staging was their hair.
Yeah. That's called hairography.
Choreography, I love it. And I
This-
loved it with that song too, that they all got a verse. Oh, this is Israel.
Yeah,
She
Israel,
hit a
talking
note.
about hair. That was
Yeah, she broke several glasses in the apartment when she hit that last note.
Yeah, she went she went pretty high there. I
Yeah.
think that's the moment she does it too. You can see it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, I was just blown away.
So this was your first one, Matt, right?
This was the first one I've watched from
Yeah.
well, not kind of start to finish, because I watched both rounds of semifinals.
So you're hooked.
Oh, one hook, line, and sinker. Absolutely. I cannot wait for next year. And honestly, I've been looking. 2022, they're doing an American version
Correct.
of this, where it's going to be each state, and then the I think District of Columbia is going to get one. Puerto Rico, like all the
The territories that should be.
yes, yeah, the territories.
Well,
that
I
should
think
be states.
luckily for the US, there's no political division in this country, so we don't have to worry about political voting here.
Right.
That's
right.
You know?
I was going to ask, who do you think is going to be? What state do you think is going to be the UK?
The nil point.
The nil point.
Ooh, you're gonna have to. Yeah. All right.
It's a tough one.
That is a tough one, because you're going to be vilified. There's always going to be somebody watching from that state.
Right.
I it'd be interesting to see if they go traditional. If we're going to get a country song from Texas, or if they're going to send a Lithuania discotheque type, which I doubt. But I mean, they might surprise us. You never know.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what the states do. Like, I think it will be an interesting experiment. Whether or not it will work.
Right. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, and it's like, who knows who's going to be vilified and who's going to be down the bottom. It's probably going to be Connecticut, let's face facts, but who knows? Right.
I feel like Connecticut and Florida, I feel like are easy targets.
Right, yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that,
Sure,
but
I just threw that out there because I don't know, words with a C and a T tend to make me laugh, but I think, it's going to be, but I'm also intrigued to see what kind of music comes out of Alaska and, North Dakota and South. How different are North Dakota and South Dakota sound-wise?
Yeah.
That kind of thing is going to interest me,
Yeah.
I think that'll be really cool because we don't have a lot of other events anymore. I mean, like I don't know if anybody even watches like the Miss United States stuff anymore, but we don't have any other events where we see the particular cultures from each state. And so it'll be a really interesting.
And I hope that they kind of hone in on that and don't just think of it as a pissing contest, but as an example to the rest of the, just to highlight your states, whatever, and just get a bit of rah going. We don't want it all saccharine. We want a bit of competition, obviously, but I think let's not fall into the traps that we've fallen into with the American Idols and the X Factors and the meanness that comes around, which is great television, don't get me wrong, but Eurovision's just it's a different vibe. You don't want that kind of meanness about the contestants, and
100%. Yeah, I'm just worried we're going to ruin it. I was like, don't it's like, okay, we've got something nice and we're bringing it here, and we're like, okay, we've got a responsibility.
The biggest challenge I've found, like I've been in this country 30 years now, almost 30 years. And I think Americans don't like change, or it's very hard to introduce something new to America because there's so many good existing things here. And there's a comfort to certain. It's very hard to introduce something, and then there's a natural disposition towards anything Euro trashy, So I get it, but I think if they brand it as an American contest, which is what it is, I mean, you're using the format of Eurovision, but this is going to be a uniquely American thing. So I think it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. I'm I'm under no illusion that we're going to see an uninterrupted 3-hour broadcast. That's not happening here, you know.
Oh no.
That
It's
is
going to be
not
7
happening.
hours, and there's going to be
Yeah.
commercials every between every song.
Commercial, song, commercial, and then everybody will be wearing Coca-Cola t-shirts.
Yeah,
And
it'll
we'll have
be
banners
song,
going as well.
commercial. Like the song will be
Yeah.
here, the commercial will be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, next up is West Virginia, represented by Geico. You know, this is what's going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if all else fails, we still have regular Eurovision that we can come back to.
We always come
Look,
back
it's
to
not going anywhere despite the haters. It's not going anywhere.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for spending an extended period of time with us today, and really just
thanks
kind
for
of
having me.
delving
I
into
appreciate it. It was fun. Excuse the sheen from its Eurovision Afterglow. So, you know, I do apologize for the sheen, but you know what?
You're
I cannot wait.
Just glowing. It's glowing.
Yeah, next year
I've been
we'll have
cigarettes
equal.
for 2 days.
All right, Karen. Well, drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and
I will. Thank you very much.
That sheen will calm down.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Take care. You too. Bye.
Oh,
how fun!
And there it is. Eurovision's over for another year. Very sad, but glad we were there. I'm going to be posting some of the links to the final performances. If you didn't see it, it's on Peacock. If you have the Peacock streaming app, you can go back and watch the stream of the semifinals and the final performance as well. Or if you want to go over to the Hello World channel on Discord, I'll be posting some of the final performances there as well. All right. That's our show. I mean, we've got our trivia question. We need to answer that real quick.
Let's answer that question and
let's
wrap it up.
We got to wrap it up. We're running low on time. Today's trivia question was, what type of dog was Indiana in the 1989 film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which premiered in 1989 on this day? Let's see. Do you have any guesses, Chloe?
I'd say German Shepherd.
German Shepherd. It was, in fact, an Alaskan Malamute.
Oh, cute.
Big old dog.
Big fluffy guys.
Big fluffy guys. All right. Well, there you go. That's our show. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Stick around. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. It's a wonderful way to support the channel. You can also support us by going to our Patreon. All these links are in the About section on our Twitch page. We have a Ko-fi now. So if you don't want to sign up for any sort of recurring payment thing, if you just want to throw us a few bucks as a tip for a show or for just to say good job, you can also find that on our About page. Chloe, do you have any closing words of wisdom for us today?
Yeah, if you're gonna buy a romper this summer, order a size up, and then if you need to get it tailored, you can, because it's just they're never as much fabric as you think they're gonna be. So,
and with that, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye, world.